I'll make a very quick video just about how to replace the motor for your dynamic shutters on the grills. This car has an error that it is not working. The failure point is actually the motor that's in the system right here that drives it. So I'll show you how to replace that really quick. This tutorial is assuming you've already watched the video on how to remove your front bumper. Once you're to this point with the bumper off, it's quite easy to get it removed and repaired. Right, so to remove this, what we're going to do is there's two fasteners up front, so one there and then one over here. There's also two electrical connectors, so this bottom one is for the motor itself, and then this top one is for your intake air temperature sensor, or outside air temperature sensor, which is chilling right there. Yeah, and for this connector here, there's actually just a slot on this that it slides off of. So if you watch here, this actually slides onto here and just clips like so. You can do the same thing over here, but it's a little bit harder to get to. So what I ended up doing was, I ended up unplugging the sensor myself here, and then using a tool to actually get this off. That kind of Christmas tree style clip there. This was just harder because there's a bend up here and I could not get it off. So I did it that way. Once these are both off, you can take a Torx 30. So I'll put that here. Make sure you're on reverse. So you take Torx 30. I'll do that one. Do that. Undo this one. And then it actually, if you just wiggle it, it will slide down. And let me just. There we go. And what it's resting on actually is, there's obviously the screw we just took out here, there's just this little clip. So that clip is actually hooking on the corner of this metal piece, and then the screw that we just undid hooks there. And it's mirrored across to the other side as well. So that's how you get it off, and then putting it back on is going to be the same way. Alright, for the connector, you would just squeeze the connector and then pry up like so. So that'll get your connector off. We're going to go down and get these two screws. So there's one there and then one there. I'm using a Torx 20. So we're going to remove those. Once those are out, this center piece will pick up. You're going to have to pull these out of the two side slots when you pick up. So I'm going to pick up here in the middle, and then as I'm picking up, just loosen these. So that will get this whole assembly out. Move this out of the way. Don't lose your screws. Probably just, no, we'll leave those. Okay, then we gotta get the motor out. So from what I could tell, the motor's captured in there by this housing. So this clip right here, it's actually friction fit on to each of these fingers, so you can pick up on it. It does require a significant amount of force. But once you've done so, now you've got all this stuff freed up. There is, from the looks of it, there was one screw right here, same size, holding the motor. Remove that. Key here is to try and get that off. So from what I can tell, this is all one solid piece, so it's really just trying to flex this to the point that it actually comes off. I do not like that. Yeah, so what I did was I just flex this until it finally bent. So you can see I'm bending it like that. I do not like that, but there's really no other way to get this out because The one fastener is clamped here down in that groove that we took the screw out on the back, and then the front one is just doweled in from this little injection molded dowel. So that's the old part. Let's see here. So we're looking at Rev D. And then here's a new part. So we've got Rev double A. So same thing. Just check comparison here between the two. And then I'll do the same thing. So put it back in this groove. And then let's see if I can do this on camera. Alright, so you can see it snap back in there. Okay, so now that that's in, make sure all your clips are all facing kind of the same way. And then we're going to put this main one back in. From what I understand, the direction does not matter because this motor ends up going to where it feels resistance. So I would put it in a similar path or spot to where it was before. We're going to flip this back over. Put that one screw in on the back. Put the one screw in on the back. Just like so. So there. And then we're going to go to the front. And we are going to put these all back in. So it's a little tricky. It's like you really have to start. Honestly, I'd start with them all kind of facing up. Force the motor to be a little bit up. So start kind of wiggling two in, and then once you start wiggling two in, get the next two set up, because if you go too far, you're going to have to back off, because they all have to kind of be ready. Oh, dang it. I popped it all off. Okay, let's start this over. So, actually, maybe I'll show this here really quick. So, there's just a slot that each of these slides into. So I'm gonna just slide in the two back ones first until they pop in. I'm gonna force the motor up, and I'm gonna get all the other ones started lining them up. So got that one in, got that one in. Oop. You can see I have that one a little bit off. There we go. And we'll get these ones close. Don't pinch yourself here. There we go. Okay, cool. So now you can see they're all clipped in and aligned. Here's the fun part. We got to get these all back in the assembly. Make sure your two screws are still there. I'm going to go back over here. So I'm going to start on one side. I kind of played with this for a second before. So I'm going to get this one side started like so. Okay, so see how I got that one side in, all those in. Don't push down on the center just yet because we're going to flex these in. So I'm going to hold this up from the middle, obviously leaving that in. And while that's up, I'm going to flex the right down into the grooves. So do that. A little tricky here. Now get them all into each of their holes. There we go. Okay, cool. So make sure those ones go in. Okay, and then to get this back in, you kind of got to wiggle it because they're not, the lips of these grills will actually catch the side. So see how that flat surface is there? If you go to put this on, and this is overlapping, it won't go in. So usually just kind of pull out on all of these, and then that'll give you enough room. Watch this. It slides in like that. So now it's flush. And then we're going to screw in our Torx screws here. That's good.
that one. Okay, so we are good to go. That sounds so much better. And for this, just sneak this back through. There we go.